Welcome to Chain Slack, my new YouTube channel for motorcycle related content. I have to get rid of the Hayabusa. Okay, don't get your panties in a bunch. I'm going to explain why I'm getting rid of the Hayabusa. So let's go on a ride and talk about it all. The first video I made started on a Busa. It was meant to be a joke. Ever since I got the bike, I wanted to start this channel with that video, so that's why I did that. And I also wanted to do it just for the memes. Um, so I did lie to you guys. I didn't start on a Hayabusa, of course. I actually started on a 2002 Suzuki Katana 600. I'll put a picture of it like right here. I bought that bike brand new, had it delivered, and after I actually bought the bike and I had it at my house, I took the Highway Patrol safety course, or call it the CHP safety course, to get my M1 motorcycle license. Since then, I have had 3 motorcycles, and this Hayabusa, so that will be my 4th. I have been on many leader bikes many times and know how to handle the power of a super sport leader bike. But again, I'm in no way an expert. But I would consider myself above average at the most when it comes to riding motorcycles. Actually, I wasn't looking for a Hayabusa. I was actually looking to upgrade from my Ninja 650 that I have purchased earlier, 2022. Um, I wake up every morning and faithfully check Marketplace like it's the newspaper, and I send lowball offers to people. So I guess the seller of this Hayabusa accepted my low offer, and I went to go pick up this motorcycle. One thing, you would be surprised how often people actually will accept your low offer on Facebook. So that's should try to do that if you're trying to save money. And if you have a budget, just send an offer, and you never know if the person will accept it, even if it's like really low, like this Hayabusa. I offered them like 2,000 less than what they were asking, and they accepted it. So you never know how somebody is in a bind to get rid of something. Anyways, so now with all that out of the way, let's talk about what I like about this bike and what I didn't like about this bike. I'm going to start with what I like about this bike. First, this bike is very smooth. So what I mean is the engine, and then when you rev it, it's just very smooth bike. It's not twitchy like a super sport. So when you get on or roll on the throttle, it's very smooth. The acceleration and then the engine is very smooth, and it's very comfortable. But don't get me wrong, this bike is very fast, and it'll get you in trouble if you don't know what you're doing very fast. So it is a very fast bike, extremely fast bike, I would say. Another thing I like is I like how planted this bike feels on the freeway, and then the aerodynamics of this bike are so good. Like when I'm like tucked in, I don't even have to tuck in all the way. I just tuck in a little bit on the freeway, and I get like no wind, no minimum wind, like don't even notice it that much. Also, you can barely feel any vibrations on the foot pegs or your throttle grip handle. Also, you don't feel crosswinds, that much of a crosswind on this bike. It just cuts through the wind like butter, and I guess that's what the when they developed this bike, the engineers, that's what they were trying to do with this bike, and that's why it looks the way it looks. I know some people thinks it's a very ugly motorcycle. Actually, I won't. I also thought when it came out back in early 2000 that this was a very ugly motorcycle, but now it's a legend, and it has grown on me, and now it looks very. It's an amazing looking machine to me. So another thing what I like about this is I do commute on my motorcycle when the weather is not so terrible. I'm not the type of person that rides in rain or storms or anything like that. And I'm not saying the weather has to be like perfect 75 degrees with sunshine and all that. But, I would ride in the morning when it's like super cold to work. I'll put on my winter gear. So, with that said, since I commute on this bike and I do a lot of freeway riding, the gearing on this bike is very amazing. So it cruises around like 3 to 4,000 RPMs when you're on the freeway going, let's call it, with the flow of traffic. Comparing that to my previous bike, my Ninja 650, if I was going the same speed, I would be upwards of like 7 to 8,000 RPMs on that bike, and it felt like I was just really winding that motor out. It was a parallel twin compared to this. Of course, it was a much bigger. Of course, this is a much bigger engine than that, but that's something I really like, that it's so just calm, but it still has like the power. Even in sixth gear, going at like 3-4,000 RPMs, I can roll on the throttle and it will still get up to speed really, really fast. So these are the things what I liked about this bike, that it was really comfortable to like ride, and it was very comfortable to be on the freeway cruising. Really nice bike to ride. So now why I'm getting rid of this bike, or what I didn't like about this bike. The first thing that I didn't like about this bike is very heavy. Heavy, bulky, is just a massive machine. And I was joking in my last video that I'm a big guy. I'm not a big guy. I'm 150 pounds and 5'7", so about an average person, or even like below average, whatever you want to call it. It's a small guy. For me, this bike is really big. I didn't know how. I didn't realize before purchasing this bike that how big and bulky and heavy it is. I was like, oh, once I get it off the kickstand, they're all just the same. All the bikes are the same. That's the kind of mentality I had before I got this motorcycle. So that said, me being 5'7", the ride height on this bike was a little too high for me. I was always nervous tippy-toeing this massive motorcycle around. I suppose I can lower this motorcycle, but I didn't want to do that because I didn't want to sacrifice the ground clearance or the lean angle of the bike. I didn't want to mess with that, so I just that's why I don't want to lower this bike. Another thing, and again, it has to do with how big and heavy this motorcycle is. It's always like a pain to find parking, or you have to be mindful of when you park this motorcycle compared to my 650, which I can just like move around like is like nothing, like a bicycle or something like that. Where this, I remember one time I pulled into a parking spot, and it wasn't even that much of a incline, but oh man, I was struggling to tippy toe and push this bike back out of that parking lot, and that's when I realized, oh man, I have to be really careful of how I park this motorcycle, which I never had that issue in the past. I never had that issue with my Katana, and then after that I had a Gixxer 600 and my Ninja 650. I never had those issues because they were much lighter and also narrower motorcycles, and the seat height was a little bit better for my height. So, um, and like I mentioned before, I do commute with my motorcycle, and that's like one of the reasons I have a motorcycle is to commute with it and save some money on gas, and I do like riding it. Um, so I didn't so with me commuting on this bike, I didn't want to be always dealing with the size of this bike and everything like that. So that's why these are some of the reasons that why I decided to get rid of it, because I just like I want a motorcycle where I'm not like stressed about those kind of things. I just want to go ride and be able to like park where I want to park and not think too much and be able to like move it around. So probably gonna get a lighter motorcycle or something that fits my size, I guess, a little bit better. Um, Other than that, this is a fantastic motorcycle. I really enjoy it, and I'm really gonna miss it. Um, and I hope the next person enjoys it as much as I did. I really, really did enjoy this motorcycle. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And I'll be getting another motorcycle pretty soon, and I will introduce it to this channel.